Morning, Kabroda crew. Welcome in. Sorry for the delay. We had some issues with our audio. Couldn't get the mic to work for a minute, but back up and running now. I had to do a little restart and change a couple things in the settings, but yeah, we're back on now, so we should be good for the stream. Hopefully y'all are doing well though, and hopefully you had a good yesterday of trading. Looks like we have a couple people here already, so welcome in Terry, welcome in Kathleen, thanks for joining. Welcome Spirit Maker. Hope y'all are doing well. Spirit Maker says he's got AI at work. Yeah, actually that's another thing I had to do. Actually was I was trying to get AI to fix the issue for me, but actually I think it did, but I had to restart my PC to get it to do that. So it took a little longer than I thought, and it's kind of like I didn't realize it was off until I already kind of had everything set up, and then I went to test my mic, and couldn't talk into the mic, couldn't hear anything. So I was like, well, I guess my audio's having issues. But yeah, like I said, now we're back up and running, so should be ready to go, and yeah, should be good to go for the stream. So hopefully y'all can hear this pretty good. You'll have to let me know if there's any issues or anything like that with the audio, but it should be good for now. And then I believe we fixed the issue, so it shouldn't have in the future, but we'll see. So yeah, thanks for being patient. Thanks for sticking around. Yeah, we'll jump right into it here today. So, yesterday we were talking about a little bit of a run up here. We kind of came up, hit target on the 1 hour. Didn't go all the way up to the 4 hours. The 4 hours calling that 67,800 level. Didn't climb all the way up there. The 15-minute yesterday kind of called it right with the with saying, we'd rather just stand down because there's not going to be a lot of move. And indeed, we didn't get a lot of move. We got a little bit of a run up. Nothing too great, really just two candles of run up. And then we kind of traded sideways up here for a minute and then dropped down below the level and kind of just, went sideways within our range for the rest of the day. So not anything super interesting. We are below our 200 here on 15 minutes. So, yeah, it's something of note, I guess. And then we also have most of the moving averages kind of starting to get stacked here to the downside. We just need that 200 to get above the red 55 here. So we'll see how it goes today, see what happens with those. But we'll have to wait for those to kind of happen. On the longer time frames, yeah, I mean that's kind of the deal. That's kind of what's happening. A little bit of a pullback here on the 1 hour. 4 hours kind of looking the same. The question really, I guess, is this going to be the turning point here? And that was kind of the high of the micro trend here on the longer time frames, and then now we're going to break down. We didn't actually get above that level that we were talking about yesterday either. So the previous high on the micro trend didn't get above that, so we're actually still in a downtrend here. So more than likely, if this is going to roll over here, we'll have to see obviously the really micro trends start to show signs of a breakdown, which means we need price action to come below this point here. So we have a point here, and we have our high, which is basically at target 2 there. So essentially, if we are going to break down, we're going to have to get down below this level. Maybe not today, but below this level in general. That'll tell us that we're flipping the micro trend to the downside, showing us some bearish trends here and showing us that we're going to continue down. If we go to the upside, break this trend, then we'll probably continue on this bullish trend. It's just kind of flipping the support and resistance there, and we'll see even more of a trend to the upside. So like I said, we'll see what happens. Yesterday we were looking at a lot of excuse me, we're looking at a lot of exhaustion kind of setting in on the longer time frames. So we'll have to see what happens here on the longer time frames, and just kind of let it play out. Yeah, all the time frames kind of looking pretty similar. Could be a double top. That would show us a little bit of a breakdown here. Obviously on the longer time frames, we're going to have to get below this level here, around that 57,000 level. On the weekly, we do got to get below that 60,055, I believe, before we can call this, bear wave 5. Continue dropping down, and we can take those targets that we've been talking about, 42, 45,000, the 50,000 level we've been targeting around there. And that's what we're gonna have to look for. So we'll see what happens here, see where it breaks down. But as of right now, it's looking pretty good for that continuation to the downside. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. Those two levels, the bottom here and then the top there, are kind of the levels we're watching for. Either one we break, we'll probably continue that way for a little bit. If we do break the top side, we will have to come all the way up to 80,000 something. I believe we'll probably go over that a little bit later, but it's 80,000 something up there that we'll need to clear before it will show that we are in fact flipping trend, and instead of going down on the longer macro trends, we're actually going to go to the upside and get some bullish action in. But yeah, for right now we're still bearish here on the longer time frames. The shorter time frames are starting to look more and more bearish. We're starting to see some of the smaller trends start to flip to the downside as well, and just kind of be in confluence with the larger ones, and so we'll see a continuation to the downside. We can go ahead and check out our website here. I'm going to go back to the 15-minute here first. Retesting our 200, it looks like, here on the 830 candle. Alright, let's head on over to the website. So for the website today, we got BTC at 50. Wow, we got it at 65,906 and 0 cents. So that's kind of the range. Whenever it takes the snapshot for the day, that's the price it grabs. So obviously we're not going to be at that exact price. We're actually pretty close right now, but we're never going to be at that exact price. It's just a ballpark, because it's just whatever price it was when it grabs a snapshot. Today we are bearish with 3 out of 5 of the indicators showing of bearish signals. We're exhausted. Jewel is lining up with I believe that means it's lined up with the bulls. And then we have the multi-agent system saying that we need to stand down today. The breakout level 66,870 and 38 cents, and the breakdown level is 65,559 and 20 cents. So you can pause it and grab those levels if you want, but we'll go ahead and grab our triggers here and throw them on our chart here in a minute. Running through the different time frames, 4 hour and 1 hour both do not have signals today. They had those yesterday, and the trades are kind of over for now, so no new signals popped up for those. As for the 15-minute, it is saying that we need to stand down today, so you have to play it how you want, but our system is saying stand down today. We do have nothing really interesting down there, so yeah, we'll go ahead and grab the levels, throw them on our chart, see what they look like, see what's going on. Head back here and we'll throw our levels on. So let's also get this trade off first. Alright, so going for Wednesday, go ahead and throw those at that price on there, and here we go. So the lines are actually looking pretty good for a continuation to the downside. Just kind of at first glance, we got our breakout line up here in green. Daily resistance in red, the red dashed one. Blue dashed is our daily support. And then down here in purple, we have our breakdown line. And then this zone right here with the two orange dash lines on either side and the kind of orange zone here in the middle, that is our 30-minute range from this morning. So whenever you see 30-minute range line up pretty close to either of the sides, so either the breakout or the breakdown level, typically that's a pretty good sign we're going to continue down. The one thing that is a little, I guess, not so great about this setup here is that the gap between the daily support here and the breakdown line is pretty small. Not something we give too much weight anymore, but we used to look at that a lot more. And typically you need over a 0.5% gap in between these two for a good move to either side, really. You need a good gap here or a good gap here. Obviously today neither of them are too great, so we're not really thinking that it's going to go down too far just because of you're looking at that. But overall, it's looking like a pretty good move here to possibly to the downside. We do have some support zones down here at 65,000. Yeah, pretty much just 65,000 around that range. Obviously all support zones and all resistances are ranges, so that's why you'll see sometimes people say double tops and one kind of spiked up a lot higher than the other and they're still saying it's a double top. That's because support and resistance are ranges, so you might come up and run into that range and you might be at the top of the range, right at the bottom of the range, but you're still within the range of the support and resistance. That's why this is a range down here as well. So do have a little range here down below us, so it could be a possible target if you're looking at maybe trading it down. Obviously, like I said, our system is saying that there's not a trade happening here on the charts. Excuse me. So looking pretty good here for the breakdown though, just based off the lines. We can go ahead and jump on into our breakdown though from the agents, our AI agents. So we have running analysis on the market. We'll go ahead and jump on over there, kind of check out what they're saying in the breakdown we got today. Go ahead and read through it and see what's going on. So here is our breakdown. If you guys are interested in this, we're thinking about bringing this out as a kind of a little you pay and you get one of these pretty much every day of the week, and you can kind of read through it yourself and see what's going on, see what's kind of happening with the market. Obviously this is not completely finalized, but it's the look, it's the overall information. It's all kind of going to be what's going to be in there, but maybe the layout will be a little bit different, or maybe there'd be pictures or something. I don't know, we'll see. But this is kind of the idea right here. So if you guys are interested, just let us know. We're kind of looking to see what people are thinking about it. All right, or if you guys want to see changes or anything like that, that'd be something that'd be helpful if you guys wanted to leave a comment about that. All right, so today we got BTC structure vetoed. We have a white box session and a daily gate disqualifying setup. Price sitting around 65,654, 95 days above the lower support boundary at 65,559. With the intraday movement compressed and coiled, the structural path to all three targets is unobstructed. No trade is authorized today. All right. The structural picture. So today BTC is progressing through bear wave 4, corrective rally that has covered approximately 27% of the expected range from the wave 3 low at 60,055. Structural map identifies 80,632 as the terminal ceiling for this corrective move. So there's that level we were talking about earlier, 80,632. That's the level on the top side that we don't want to cross. If we cross that, then we're Actually, I guess if you want to be more bullish, then you probably want to cross that. But in terms of what the market kind of needs for itself, we don't really want to see this cross as of right now. It'd be better for us to break down and cross this 60,055 level. Then we can get that breakdown a little bit before we come up and break the top level there. So you kind of got your bottom at 60,055, and then you got your top at 80,632. Anyways, so that's the terminal ceiling for the corrective move. Weekly close above that level rewrites the bear count entirely. Like I just said, weekly close below 60,055 activates 405 with structural map pointing towards that 42,000 to 45,000 range. The dominant weekly and daily trends read bearish. Today's price action occurs within a corrective structure, not a primary advance. So, like I said, it is looking like today we are kind of, recorrecting ourselves, looking for more downside, looking like we're going to continue to break to the downside and possibly get the close below that 60,055 level. That would continue us down to the levels we've been calling, at 42,000 to 45,000. The market sentiment for today. So the market sentiment for today, the fear and greed index registers at 33. So we're just in fear territory. Yesterday we were at 25, I believe. So we were actually in extreme fear, but today we are just in fear. So we are coming up a little bit. Kind of interesting, obviously price rose a little bit yesterday and has been rising a little bit the past, I don't know, couple days since Monday, really. So, well, even farther than that since Friday last week. So, overall, we are getting a little bit of an upwards move, and that's probably why, some of the fear is kind of coming off. People are starting to, not be as worried about continuing down, stuff like that. So some of the fear kind of comes off, and people just, aren't as fearful, which is good for the market. Kind of means that we have a little bit of money kind of starting to flow back in. Obviously, there's money flowing in when we are in extreme fear because people are buying basically, essentially the, I guess, smarter people or people with more money, smart money, as people refer to it as, are going to come in and buy when we're in extreme fear, just because, if we're in extreme fear, that means, people are all getting out, they're all selling. Typically it also means that we're near the bottom of the market. It's not always like an indicator you can say, well, we're exactly at the bottom of the market, but it is an indicator you can kind of say, all right, well, we're pretty close to the bottom of the market. So if I buy right now when we're in extreme fear, then more than likely I can hold it and sell whenever we get up into the more, I guess, extreme greed level. If you're, just interested in doing more less trading like we're doing and maybe more just investing, you probably could just use the fear and greed and just say, well, I'm going to buy when it's super and extreme fear and I'm going to sell when it's in extreme greed. Probably wouldn't be too bad of a system, but again, that's investing. You're going to be buying now, you could sell in a couple of years or a while from now. You're not going to be selling tomorrow or later today, so it's kind of how it works. But right now we are a little bit up in the fear territory, so that's good. It's reflecting broad market risk inversion across the session. This reading, sentiment is historically depressed, consistent with the institutional capital reducing exposure rather than accumulating. Sentiment backdrop conflicts with the intraday long structure and the internal setup points higher, but the macro risk environment does not provide tailwind confirmation. So yeah, it looks like we could be kind of coming up for a nice little crash down even farther. We'll see what happens here though. Today's energy. So the 4-hour and hourly trend are both reading bearish, but both carry negative momentum. They're both reading bullish, but they both carry negative momentum. The trend structure is intact, while the short-term velocity works against it. 50-minute momentum signal is compressed and positioned for a directional release. Momentum reads at statistically oversold levels with no cross timeframe exhaustion signals active, indicating the pullback is approaching structural exhaustion rather than extending. The hourly is also in the oversold territory with trend strength building at the ADX of 21.21. However, the Bollinger Bands with percentile or BBWP has compressed to 2.4%, a historically extreme compression reading that signals a volatility expansion is loading. The direction of that expansion is structurally unresolved. So the setup for today, obviously setup is vetoed because we do not have a trade. Structural energy is insufficient. Yeah, so why are we standing down? Obviously besides that the energy is inefficient. We have two independent veto conditions fired simultaneously at the open, and each is sufficient on its own. So the session box spans $1,311, equivalent to 2% of the lower structural boundary price. The performance auditors review identified 0 correct directional calls across 4 prior sessions where the opening range exceeded 1% of price. The hard threshold is 1%. This session is double that threshold. Box width of this magnitude creates structural ambiguity that degrades directional execution across quality regardless of the underlying setup quality. This criteria alone disqualifies the session. The daily gate flipped bearish at London Open, accompanied by a momentum overextension reading at 82.5% above the supply threshold. That combination signals supply overhead on the higher time frame, compounding this over every overnight session from the New York Open through Asia midday carried active exhaustion divergence signals under what is a bullish gate. That accumulated warning history matters. The memory bank currently reflects 2 wins against 3 losses. The standing protocol under a negative recent performance record is to require an elevated structural confluence. This setup, while carrying genuine intraday edge, does not mean that does not meet the elevated standard. The daily bearish gate, the overextension reading, and the short side lean from the sentiment structural index combined to classify this as a borderline setup. Under current performance conditions, borderline is vetoed. So essentially, this is a alright setup, but because of different conditions and also because it's only alright, essentially we're just going to stay out of it for today. So what would change that? Obviously, basically, if we did the opposite of what we just talked about, that would obviously change it. It's not going to happen just based off how these are both set up, how both of our issues are set up. It's not going to happen. So really we'll just kind of skip that part for today. We are doing pretty good. Obviously if you traded within the last 7 days and took all the trades we had, you would have made 1 win, 1 loss. So you would have been up 1 R across 2 trades. You might be wondering, what's 1 R mean? Essentially, 1 R means it's going off risk to reward. So if you risked $100, you're going to make $100 is the idea. So essentially, on one of the first trade when you won, you would have made 2 R. So you would have made $200 on 100. And then you would have lost 100 on the next trade, which would take you down to $100 only. So, across the 2 trades, you would have made $100. Yeah, and then just kind of, obviously, doesn't matter too much about the risk advisory since we're not looking to take a trade. If your system is running, I guess we can kind of run through it and see, what you guys might be want to watch for. Confirmed close below 65,559. Opens the short measure move. This session remains vetoed. No authorization to pursue the short side. A move above 66,870 without daily gate confirmation leaves structural path to targets unobstructed, but the energy picture does not support a valid long entry from current conditions. An override attempt on the long side carries a maximum defensible posture of a full exit at 68,000 181. No extension trades, no runner to second or final target. Volatility expansion signal at 2.4% Bollinger Band compression elevates the risk of sharp directional move in either direction. Position signings must reflect the elevated risk. So essentially, we're kind of in a highly compressed zone right now, with where we're at. So, and we could fire to either side, and it looks like both sides kind of have a lot of room either to go down or up. But what you want to watch out for is with that high volatility kind of, setting up with the, the rubber bands kind of all the way back. So you want to watch out for whenever that gets let go. It's going to be a quick, fast move. And if you're trying to go the wrong way, you're going to get ripped in the face pretty fast. So you want to be careful. Just be careful with that, I guess. Again, we aren't here for, financial advice or anything like that. We're just here for educational purpose only. It's all right here at the bottom of our newsletter thingy. All right. So yeah, that's kind of the market reading for today. So nothing super interesting. We don't have any kind of trades happening today. Just mostly, kind of looking at the overall market structure. We're seeing here on the 15-minute, we're seeing a little bit of compression, a lot of, volatility kind of setting up, getting ready to come in. So we could be firing either way, like I said. So we'll see what happens with it. Here on the Jewel, we are looking pretty nice for a little bit of a fire up today. So maybe we're going to fire up, maybe we're going to fire down. We'll have to see what happens. You have to watch the charts and see what's going on. Especially if your system is calling a trade, today could be a pretty good day for you if you're looking to take a trade up or down. As for us, our system is saying stay down, so we don't really have anything going on. And I guess if you're trading our system, then you don't got really anything going on today. So you have to just keep watching the chart, see what's going on, see what's happening. Other than that though, thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out with us and checking out some charts and running through some different time frames, seeing what's going on. Hopefully it was helpful for you. Hopefully y'all learned something. That's what we're here for, is to help y'all learn some stuff. Hopefully help y'all on your road to financial freedom. And if you did learn something, go ahead, hit a like, hit the subscribe if you guys aren't already. We'll hoping to bring out more content just like this. Go ahead and hit that bell notification too if you're interested in catching up with us. Whenever we drop a video. It looks like we are firing a little bit right now, actually. Thanks for joining again. We will catch y'all tomorrow at 8:30. Like I said, the audio should be fixed tomorrow, so we shouldn't be too worried about more audio issues. So we should start on time tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will catch y'all next time. Happy trading, y'all.